Welcome everybody to another episode of 80s and 90s Rewind the Times, the show 80s and 90s, and pretty much it's been all Batman. As mostly everyone knows, Batman is my favorite superhero of all time. I love he's the world's greatest detective. Ever since I was a young boy, I've always loved Batman. Um, hell, most of my room was all Batman. Absolutely love Batman. Um, so I finally got to see the Batman last night. After time and time again about everybody talking about it, I finally had the opportunity to go see it. Me and my girlfriend loved it. It's one of those movies that it is very long, but it goes by with such a good smoothness to it that you kind of don't want to leave that world. And Matt Reeves does an amazing job with Gotham. We finally got the Batman that is the detective, because he plays Batman at least 80% in this movie, and there's the detective part of it. So it's an absolutely great movie. I suggest to anybody. How I got a PG-13 movie rating, I have no clue, because it's very gruesome, very sadistic, very horror elements, which I like. Paul Dano as Riddler. Well, when I do a ranking video, you're gonna see where I rank him. He does an awesome job. So it got me thinking. As me and my girlfriend were leaving the theaters, we're talking about our favorite movies, our favorite Batman movies, and what we've seen growing up as children and as kids, and even to this day, because I'm very fortunate to date someone that loves the same stuff that I love when it comes to these movies. So last night is my night off, and I'm sitting and I'm thinking about what, maybe, with my top 10, because there are 10 live action movies now having the Batman in it, and I figured I'd give it my favorite from worst to first, and I'm gonna start off with Batman and Robin. Batman and Robin. Now on this list, I can watch all these movies over and over again. I can watch them all because I love Batman in general. Some are harder to watch than others, but Batman and Robin is a very forgettable movie. The less you talk about it is probably the better. George Clooney as Batman. Nothing against George Clooney, but he's not Batman. He's not even a good Bruce Wayne. He does this weird thing with his face all the time in the movie theater. In the movie, when you watch it enough, you notice it. When you watch these movies as much as I have, you notice he does this weird turning with his face and the way he looks when he's Bruce Wayne. It's just odd. Chris O'Donnell, I love Chris O'Donnell as Robin. Unfortunately, Robin's supposed to be a 13 or 14-year-old boy, not a grown man, but I'm okay with that. His origin story is really good from Batman Forever. The villains are super forgettable, super forgettable. Bane is just to be a big, brunt, and stupid bully. He's just very stupid. Uma Thurman, she's just a woman that's in heat all the time. Her portrayal of Poison Ivy is it's not one of the best. Mr. Freeze, I like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I love Arnold Schwarzenegger as an actor. The suit, I like the suit. I think they were trying to portray the George Sanders suit from episode 3 of Batman 66. But the problem with him is these pun lines and these stupid pun lines. It's just these, it would kill the dinosaur, the Ice Age. It's just all these stupid things. It gets kind of played out after a while. I do like the home that he has, because George Sanders had that. It's like it's like an ice cream place, like an ice cream shop, and his wife is in a tank behind, some frozen dinners. I like that because in Batman 66, which I'm a big fan of, it does have that. So I like that. Another element in this movie that it's easy to forget is Batgirl. First of all, her origin is not correct. Barbara Gordon is not Alfred Pennyworth's in these. As we all know, it's the daughter of Jim Gordon, and she's just shoehorned in the movie at the end, and it's very forgettable. And I mean, they already had a suit made for her. They already had a car made for her. This movie in general was made for all these movies were made for children, pretty much. The later part of the Batman series, the Tim Burton verse, but this one was made to make toys, and you can definitely tell. So on my list, this is definitely number 10. Number 9, and this will surprise some people, it's Batman Forever. This movie does stick out to me a lot. I do have nostalgic memories with it, but Val Kilmer, which I'm gonna probably get a lot of hate and maybe some unsubscribers, he's not one of my favorite Batmans. People really like him a lot as Batman. He's an okay Bruce Wayne. but he's not really a good Batman to me. There's just something about him I just don't care for. Um, you know, this movie is the introduction of Robin, Chris O'Donnell, which I love. I love Robin in general in Chris O'Donnell's portrayal in Forever and Batman and Robin. I like him a lot. I think they did a really great job. Joe Schumacher giving him the role. I like his lines. I like him in general. Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face. Could have done without it. It's he's just trying. I don't know. Just something. There's something off. There's just something off. Um, but the one person that I do love is I love Jim Carrey's Riddler. Jim Carrey's Riddler. It's more of a. Even Jim Carrey admitted it. It's more of a Frank Gorsh. That's where he got his ideas from. It's sadistic but funny. You know, there's something wrong with him. You can tell. And he's very goofy, which I love. The Frank Gorsh Riddler, and you can really see that that's what Jim Carrey really got that role from. So I love Jim Carrey. Just the movie, Number 8 would be Batman '66, the movie. This A lot of people don't like Batman '66. Adam West or Burt Ward's portrayal of Batman and Robin. I do. I love The Bright Knight. I am a huge fan. Anyone that watches my channel knows I'm a huge fan of Adam West's Batman. That movie was filmed right after season 1. I like it because you have the Fearsome Foursome. You have Catwoman, Riddler, Penguin, and Joker in it. You have Cesar Romero's Joker, who is phenomenal. To me, to this day, when I think of Joker, it is Cesar Romero. I know Heath Ledger and Jack Nicholson, they get their praise in Joaquin Phoenix. But when I think of Joker, it's Cesar Romero. And he is sadistic. He is a psychopath. You know what I mean? He really could kill Batman. He really wants to kill Batman. He puts him in all these devious traps. If you ever watched the show, I know it's very campy, but it's a camp that I can watch. Frank Gorsh's Riddler is sadistic. He hates Batman. You know what I mean? A Riddler day keeps the Riddler away. Like he really is. I love his incarnation of the Riddler, man. He's a psychopath that loves to toy with Batman. Loves to toy with him. Burgess Meredith's Penguin is played phenomenal. I love Burgess Meredith. He's really known for playing Mickey in the Rocky movies. But I really love his portrayal of the Penguin. And we see a side of Catwoman that we've never seen before. It's Lee Merriweather's Catwoman, where Julie Newmar and Eartha Kitt are known for playing Catwoman, but unfortunately those two actresses, Eartha Kitt didn't come in until season 3, but Julie Newmar, she was away filming something else, because back in the day, those actors weren't tied to those roles. They were just actors that worked for a living. So whenever the roles came up, they would do those roles. They were never signed on to these picture deals and stuff like that. So that's why you see Lee Merriweather's Catwoman. But she's beautiful in that, and she's stunningly beautiful. And what's really cool is her costume was actually Julie Newmar's costume, because it was made for Julie Newmar's body, and Lee Merriweather fit it pretty well, so she looked pretty good in it. Later on in season 3, Eartha Kitt, her Catwoman costume was not Julie Newmar's at all costume. It was pretty much portrayed for her, so I thought that was pretty interesting. So coming in, so like I said, I love Batman '66, and that's number 8. Number 7 is Batman vs Superman. This is supposed to be, there is a Batman origin to it. I do like the movie. I know I'm gonna get a lot of grief too, but kind of hinting in foreshadow. I do like Ben Affleck's Batman. I'm not a huge fan of it. The Batman that he does portray is Frank Miller's from The Dark Knight Returns, which is a comic book about how Batman is away from Gotham for many years, and then comes back later on to take it back. I've talked about it in other videos if you want to check it out. I love that storyline. Love the storyline. But there's just something about him. I don't know. I like that he has the voice changer in his helmet, which is pretty, in his cowl, which is pretty cool. But I don't know. I just wasn't a fan of that movie. I like it. It is a good movie, but it's not one that I go, oh. And I can watch them all. Like I said, I can watch them all, but it's not one of the ones, like, it's definitely, obviously, it's not my top 5. So Batman vs Superman. The next one after that is The Dark Knight. Number 6 would be The Dark Knight Rises. This is a great movie. It's the ending part of the trilogy, of the Nolan trilogy. Um, Bane is badass in this movie. Tom Hardy does an awesome job. Christian Bale's Batman is fucking awesome. Anne Hathaway's Catwoman is awesome. The problem with this movie that I have is it's Talia Ghul. It's Talia Ra's al Ghul's daughter. The problem I have with this movie is Bane is brought up to be such a badass, and at the end you find out he's just a regular henchman. Like, because Talia comes in and she just, pretty much derails Bane. She makes him down to being this badass who was corrupt and was taking over Gotham City for months and months while this bomb was about to go off. And at the end, he's just another side piece, just another sidekick. I didn't like that. I like the fight scenes between Bale and him. You know what I mean? Because Bane is really made to, though. Bane is supposed to be brought that he can really beat the shit out of Batman. And just like happened in Nightfall where he snapped his back. And I like it. And I like the portrayal. I thought Tom Hardy was an amazing Bane. And one thing people get upset, one thing that people get misinterpreted is they say the scene where he breaks his back. He doesn't really break his back, because people say, oh, he breaks his back and he's out of commission while he's healing to watch his city burn. It's actually not true. He has a protruded disc, and from someone that had a protruded disc, when I was 21, I shattered my L4 and my L5, and I had a protruded disc in my spine. You can't walk. You can't walk, but it doesn't mean that you're paralyzed and you can never walk ever again. You can. Once you get the disc back in place, like they do in the movie, you get your mobility back. So I did like that they did that in the movie, but people have such a gripe and they get so upset. They're saying, oh, he broke his back, how could he walk again? No, he didn't break his back. He had a protruded disc. Even the doctor says it in the movie. Your disc is protruded. He pops it back in, and then he starts getting his mobility back. That is true. I was bed rest for a year and a half, and I used to go see a doctor, and I went on something called the traction table, and they would take my spine and they'd pull it apart. And eventually a disc would pop in, and then when that happened, I got my walking back. I couldn't run for the longest time. It's still, it messes with your mind. It made me depressed because I couldn't run at all. And I play sports. I like to work out. I like to do all those things. I couldn't do none of those things for the longest time. And I started getting into shape once the disc started sliding back into spot. And even on cold days, I can still feel it. So it's not true. That's something I don't like about the movies. He didn't have a broken back. He had a protruded disc. But I do love The Dark Knight Rises. I think it's a great ending to that trilogy. I like that you see Scarecrow in the beginning and towards the middle of the movie. So one of my favorite movies. Number 6. Number 5 is Batman Begins, the origin and the start of the Nolan trilogy. This is a great movie. I love how it shows how he came up, his past, how he lived with thugs, and he learned how to live on the streets. It's a great origin story. I like the villain in there. I love the villain played, I can't think of his name right now, but I like the Scarecrow villain. I really do like that. This Carmine Falcone's in there. It's a great movie. It's an overall really good movie. It's one that I can watch over and over again. Like I said, it's the origin story. Some people vote this as their best and their favorite movie in the Nolan trilogy. I can understand why, but there's one more higher, and I think you guys know where I'm going. But number 4 for me would be Batman Returns. This movie holds so much nostalgia to me. My mom loved this movie. God rest her soul. I miss my mother so much dearly. She loved Batman. And my mom was one of those moms that when these movies came out, she said, okay, son, let's go. We're going to go see these movies. So it was cool having a mom that was into the things that you liked. My mom was always like a modern day mom, I used to say. She listened to the same thing that I listened to. Hell, my mom was down with OPP before Naughty by Nature. Like, my mom was so cool, man. And that's what made her fun. And she loved this movie. She loved Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman. She absolutely loved her in that. Sexy and fierce and could hold her own, but at the same time she had a sweet side to her. Keaton is amazing in that movie. I love the Batmobile in that movie. Danny DeVito was a great Penguin. The storyline, Max Schreck, with Christopher Walken. Great. It's a dark movie. I know everyone talks about the Batman Matt Reeves movie being dark. This was not as dark as Matt Reeves, not on an R level dark like Matt Reeves, but this was a dark movie. So much so that McDonald's actually dropped their license to, I believe, to do the McDonald's toys and stuff. because they're talking about, because in the movie they do have killing babies. Well, you know, because that was the plan that the Penguin wanted to do. He wanted to take the firstborn, then he wanted to drown them. And in the beginning, you know, Penguin's parents threw him over a bridge. So there's a lot of dark tones into it and shit that just shouldn't have happened. But we allow it because it's a movie that we indulge in and stuff. But I love Batman Returns. God, especially that scene where the Ice Princess just passed, like she just died, and Batman spreads his wings and he's got this awesome bat suit and his cape is shaped like a bat, like bat wings. And it's got points on him, and he flies over the people. It's just such a cool scene. It's so iconic. I love that scene. So my number 3 movie would be The Dark Knight with Heath Ledger. That movie, man, Heath Ledger is absolutely amazing in that movie. Christian Bale's amazing in that movie. It is almost, it's not a near perfect movie. It's not a perfect movie, but it's near perfect. It's so great. I remember going to that movie with my brother at the midnight showing. Another nostalgic memory I have for that. And just being in awe of what we were seeing. The way they set up at the beginning of that movie, how everybody's breaking into the banks, and all the henchmen have this Joker mask on, and the way they're just setting up Heath Ledger for you to see him as the Joker is amazing. And Heath Ledger just, dude, he won an Academy Award for it. I mean, the man, the role pretty much killed the man. I hate to say that, but it's true. I mean, but he just was just, you know, because he locked himself in a room and tried to be the Joker himself, put his mind in that. Heath Ledger's just, he might be the greatest villain of all time. And you'll see, I'm gonna do a ranking video, and you'll see in that I have so much respect for Ledger. When I heard that Heath Ledger was to pick to be the Joker, I'm like, Heath Ledger, the guy from the movie The 30 Mistakes or 30 Ways to Lose a Woman or whatever that thing is, that movie, like that kid right there, like he was in, you know, the Knight's Tale, that kid, and man, I will never ever second guess when I hear an actor being portrayed in a role that I think they're not going to be good in, because they just absolutely blow it out of the park, and he blew it out of the park. He's amazing. So The Dark Knight, simply one of the best movies of all time. Number 2 would be The Batman I just seen. This movie is the first time we've ever seen Batman in a true horror, sadistic. He's a detective, and I love that you see things through his eyes. There's one scene that I said to my girlfriend, and I was like, "This is incredible." How he has these. For anyone that hasn't seen the movie yet, sorry, but I'm gonna give some spoilers. He has these contact lenses that record stuff, so when he's seeing things, so he can go back to his Batcave, and he takes the contact lenses off and puts them on a machine, and he can re-watch what he saw so he can see the clues. Dude, that is fucking cool as shit. That was awesome. Matt Reeves, man, that is amazing how you put that into the movie. But I love that it shows the detective part, something that we never really seen in a Batman movie before, because we all know that Batman was the world's greatest detective. And he has his gadgets, and he's also a Batman that's just coming up. He's just coming up in the world, because this is year 2. And these criminals, they fucking fear him. They fear him. In the beginning, it was so cool because they're showing some people, because Gotham City is pretty much plagued with criminals, and there's a lot of bad shit going on. And they're showing a couple of scenes of some villains doing some bad things. One guy's in a convenience store, and he's gonna rob them. And the next one, the next scene is they're showing this group of they're like Joker things on their face. They're all painted up as Jokers. And if you look at one of them, you'll notice it's Tim Drake from the Titans show. I thought that was pretty cool. But on a side note, so you got that gang of Jokers, and then you have, which also made me think of Batman Beyond, by the way, which I thought was cool. Then all of a sudden you have another criminal. He's spray painting these walls and stuff. It looks like he's spray painting city wall, the beams in the city wall, and then all of a sudden the bat light goes up, and the villains see it, and now all of a sudden these villains, they're fearful. They're looking into dark alleys. They don't want to, like the guy who's spray painting, he drops his can and it rolls into like a dark area. And he's like, shit, I don't want to walk in there. The Batman could be in there. And the way the Batman comes out of that scene, the first time you see him on the big screen, dude, it gives me chills now. It's so cool. It's like these guys, they fear him. They fear him. They fear that he will beat the crap out of them. And we've never seen nothing like that before. And I thought it was really interesting and really, really cool. Matt Reeves, perfect, man. Awesome movie. He understands Batman. A lot of these directors don't. Like I don't think Joel Schumacher understood Batman. I really don't. I think Tim Burton does, but to an extent. Tim Burton does, but he tries to make it his verse. Matt Reeves understands. There's a lot of elements from the Long Halloween, like the movie, you know, the cartoon, the Long Halloween, the last Halloween, Hush. There's a lot of elements from the comic books that he took. So he is a fan of Batman, a true fan of Batman, and I can't rave about this movie anymore. It's a great movie. I love to see it again. And like I said, it's a long movie. It's 3 hours, but the pacing of it is like you don't want to leave this world. You don't want to leave. Selena Kyle, you know, the Catwoman, Zoe Kravitz, amazing. She's sexy. She's beautiful. She looks great. I love the way she sleeks down because she's a cat burglar. I love how she comes out of the sky and you know when she's doing it, when she's committing a crime. And Colin Farrell, you couldn't even know it was Colin Farrell. I showed my girlfriend a picture and she's like, "That's him." The makeup job is amazing. His aneurysms and the way he speaks is just unbelievable. And Andy Serkis, the guy who does Gollum's voice, is Alfred. Awesome role. I thought they were gonna kill him. I was getting nervous. I'm like, oh man, I hope they don't. But they don't. You know, at least he's in the hospital. He's in intensive care. But this is just an awesome movie. Paul Dano's Riddler. Wow, wow. I mean, it's just amazing. It is absolutely. Paul Dano dude. He's a good actor. He just blew this. He took this role and just threw it out of the park. It's just amazing. I would compare it, if you're asking me, and I hate to foreshadow another video that I'm gonna do, I would compare it to Heath Ledger's Joker. It's on that type of level. It's so good. So I recommend it. Go see it. Great movie, great ending, and Barry Keoghan's in it, and he does the Joker, and oh, you can just hear his voice. You can kind of see a picture of him a little bit in the shadows. It's dude, can't. They're so excited to see the setup for this. But my number one favorite Batman movie of all time is obviously Batman 1989, and there's a lot of nostalgia behind it. First of all, hey, I hate to give it away, but Keaton is my favorite Batman. I love Keaton. I think he's the perfect Bruce Wayne. I think he's the perfect Batman. He embarks and brings in everything that's Batman to me. I remember 9 years old sitting with my mom in the summer of '89 watching this movie for the first time, and just Danny Elfman's score, the music that he brings to this movie. It's just an amazing, amazing movie. A lot of people say it is an origin story for for the Joker, and which it is. It really is. It is kind of an origin story for the Joker. How he's from Jack Napier and he becomes the Joker. But Michael Keaton's, put it this way: if it's an origin story of the Joker, and it's more about how the rise of the Joker becoming the Joker, but Batman is still that good that he kind of overshadows that. That just says a lot to me. Keaton embarks him, like I say, the way he walks, his presence, like this is fucking Batman. Excuse my language, but that's Batman to me. You know what I mean? Like this is his voice. He's got the perfect voice, the way his fighting style, and a lot of people laughed at Michael Keaton. You know, he's the guy that was Mr. Mom and did Multiplicity, and now all you can see is him. His Batmobile is iconic. When you think of the Batmobile, that's what you think of. You think of it, his suit. I am so excited. I get goosebumps thinking about how he's going to be in at least 3 movies this year. And now I think he's he's going to be like the Batman of the DC world. He's going to be in The Flash. He's going to be in Batgirl. And I've heard, that he's going to be an Aquaman and stuff like that. You hear those rumors, you know what I'm saying? So you know he's going to be at least The Flash and Batgirl. And I'm super excited. I'm gonna go nuts, and I know I'm gonna get excited. I cannot wait to see him on the big screen again. But yeah, so that's my ranking videos. I know you guys are probably gonna be a lot different. People are gonna complain about probably where I have Batman Forever or maybe Batman vs Superman. But like I said, they're just my opinions. It's okay, that we go back and forth talking about it. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's just right. My list is not better than yours. Yours is not better than mine. It's just an opinion. So. But hey man, I hope everybody enjoys their day today. I'd love to hear what your favorite Batman movies are. And everyone take care of themselves. Remember God first and family. And I'll take care and I'll see you in the next video. And God bless.